on a journey through deep space, trapped in a war. Two pirates fight the good fight, armed with only 6 strings and some pretty bitchin' beards. It's time for your weekly dose of pirate madness. You're now listening to the Guitar Pirates Podcast.
Everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of the Guitar Pirates Podcast. It is May 9th, rolling right into the middle of May. Jim, how are we doing this evening?
Doing good. It's
quite a night for us, huh?
quite a night, yeah.
Guys, we've had our first interview. I think I'm the last person to figure out Zoom in 2021.
Well, I have no idea.
We're the last people, the last podcast to figure out Zoom in 2021. But guys, I'm rolling into our normal dirty laundry segment. I had a little bit of an epiphany over this past weekend. We started Instagram, and lo and behold, it's just kind of taken off like wildfire. You know, the hashtags, we're uploading our Buzzsprout, our podcast host lets us make minute clips, and I've been editing those down and posting those. Posted 2 30-second clips, and we had just 2 instant likes. Boom, boom, boom. One of these likes was by a guy I'd never even met before, G.A.S out of Australia.
Yes.
A stone pick maker. Excuse me, guys out there, if I butchered the name. But, these guys are really nice. I believe his name's Jack. Jack and Mandy and Smitty, I believe. The 3 guys, 3 people down there. It's a husband and wife deal in Australia making stone picks. These picks are unbelievable. JaKettoPicks.com, JAKETTO.com. Check them out. They're kind of, for one pick, you might think it's pricey, but guys, it's a literal piece of art.
Oh, it's beautiful.
They're beautiful.
If you don't like thick picks, it's not.
It's worth a try just to give it a shot. They are all thick, but he has a reasoning for those.
Of course.
But we're not going to delve off into that. We'll call that a cliffhanger, if you know what I'm saying. But thank you to everybody on Instagram. Thank you to JaKettoPicks. Thank you to everybody who's followed us, who's liking our stuff. We're not taking over the world, but we're giving it a shot.
Oh, we're going to do everything we can.
We're giving it a shot. We're cutting the pod. This is, episode 6. We just had our first interview. We're going to kind of let that linger a little bit, you think?
Yeah.
We'll let that. I guess it doesn't really matter, because if you're reading the title, you already know.
Right.
You already know. Ryan Burke, 60 Cycle Hum fame, OG podcaster, OG YouTuber, over 19 million YouTube views.
And very nice guy.
The most sincere guy I think I've met in a while. Super, super, super nice guy. So thank you to Ryan for answering our cold DM, or cold Instagram DM, and coming on the show.
Yeah.
Super great. We could have talked probably for 3 hours. I could have ate up the dudes the whole night just talking about gear and anything else.
Yeah.
But thank you, Ryan. Thank you, JaKettoPicks. Thank you, everybody who's just followed us on our socials, Facebook, Instagram. Guys, thank y'all so much. It's very, very awesome.
Yes, and to my buddy Dustin, who says he can't hear our voices but loves our podcast, get a better phone, please. How you gonna love our podcast but you can't hear us? It makes no sense to me.
Man, some people it's probably not his fault.
No, it's not.
It's probably not his fault. It could be ours, guys. Just let us know if we're sounding bad. Let us know. Let us know what's going on. If you have any questions, set us up. Guitar Pirates Podcast Facebook, Guitar Pirates Podcast Instagram. Ask us anything you want, or tell us how bad we're doing. We love the constructive criticism.
Not nasty criticism, though.
Excuse me. But guys, I don't have any more for our dirty laundry. Do you, Jim?
Nope. My dirty laundry is going to be rolled into our new segment.
All right, guys. Rolling right along. It is May 9th, but we do a weekend edition here at the Guitar Pirates Pod, so we are going to roll into our May 8th, This Day in Music. Take it away, Jim.
All right. So since we're going to go into May 8th, this was 1977, May 8th. Blues guitarist Joe Bonamassa was born in New Hartford, New York.
Happy birthday.
And he started playing guitar at age 4. Which,
Could you imagine being a 4-year-old guitar player?
I mean, he was,
probably barely out of diapers and thinking about cartoons, and this dude's thinking about like G chords and stuff.
and by the time he's 10, he's playing with, was it 10 or 12? He's already playing up there with B.B. King and everything.
I mean, I was 4 or 5 years old thinking about teddy bears and snackies, not thinking about
ruling the
guitars.
ruling the world of blues guitar whenever you get older. Let's see here. Come on. Here we go. All right, it's lagging behind a little bit. Let's see here. In 1982, in Los Angeles, Dean Martin is arrested when police find a loaded .38 pistol in the trunk of his Rolls Royce. He pleads guilty to carrying the concealed weapon and is sentenced to a year's probation. I mean, if you don't know who Dean Martin is, you need to climb out from under that rock you live in. He's one of the best vocalists of all time in the Rat Pack. You should check him out. And probably the coolest dude that ever lived. I mean, he's fantastic. One of my favorite singers of all time. And then 1995, Rook Nielsen from Cheap Trick fame was, I'm going to butcher this, posthumous star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, POSTHUMOUS.
Yeah, hit us up on Instagram anywhere and let us know how to pronounce that one.
Right. Let's see here. This one, I talked to Josh if I wanted to add this one, but I'm going to go ahead and read it anyway because it kind of cracked me up. In 2001, May 8th, the road manager for Insane Clown Posse is arrested at an Omaha show for attacking an Eminem supporter who was tossing Eminem candies on stage to taunt ICP about the Detroit rival. That cracks me up.
It's kind of funny. I'm not a big Eminem or ICP fan, but
That cracks me up.
yeah, that's funny.
Let's see here. Where's my big ones? Here's my biggies. 1963, May 8th, the Beatles land their first #1 hit, One From Me to You, tops the UK chart. The song goes nowhere in America, where the word of the Beatles is still just a whisper. So this is before they even crossed the pond there. This one I really liked. 1965, on their first American tour, the Rolling Stones stop in Jacksonville, Florida, and the audience is a 17-year-old Ronnie Van Zant who decides then and there he wants to be a singer in a rock band.
That's life-changing right there. That's, that's the Southern, primetime Southern rock. Start talking about Ronnie Van Zant, right?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, just to think, 1977, so 12 years later, that's when the crash was 77.
I'm not 100%.
I know it was in the 70s. We gotta fact check that one.
Fact check that. Somebody fact check us that.
I want to say 77.
Post that on Dirty Laundry.
Let's see here. In 1993, the comeback is complete as Aerosmith's Get a Grip album debut at #1, making it their first trip to the top of the charts, and it sold 20 million albums. 20 million.
20 million.
20, man. There's some people that haven't even sold 20 million in their career.
Yeah, let alone for one album.
I mean, 20 million albums not being named Elvis or, I think the Black albums sold
the Elvis
20
or the
something
Beatles
million.
or whomever that's selling all these albums.
Michael Jackson, Mariah Carey, Shania Twain.
The big guns of the music industry.
And the last one I have for May 8th, in 2015 in Tulsa, Rush began their R40 live tour, playing their newer songs first and then working backward to Working Man, the song that launched them in America. It ended up being their last tour with Neil Peart. who died with brain cancer in 2020.
All right, is that all we have for our
May
8th?
That's all I got for May 8th that was worth mentioning.
Right. Well, rolling right into May 9th here. Happy birthday, Sonny Curtis. Happy birthday, Dave Prater. Excuse me. Happy birthday, Noki Edwards. We were just talking about Mosrite guitars with Ryan from 60 Cycle. Kind of odd. So we keep rolling down here. Happy birthday, Billy Joel, born 1949.
Happy birthday, Piano Man.
Really all of our notable birthdays, but for notable events, or May 9th, this day in music. Chuck Berry began his first ever UK tour at the Astoria Theatre, supported by the Animals, Swingin' Blue Jeans, Carl Denver, and Nashville Teens.
Ooh, what year was that?
64.
Oh, wow.
64, Louis Armstrong, number 1 in the U.S. singles charts with Hello Dolly. Made him the oldest artist at number 1 at the age of 62. Guys, it's never too late.
Never.
62 and you get your number 1. Come on, man. There's no excuses. 1965, Bob Dylan, during a UK tour, played his first 2 sold-out shows at the London Royal Albert Hall. All 4 members of the Beatles were in the audience. 1966, the Doors played Whiskey A Go-Go. Auditioning for the position of the house band.
In 66?
Yeah.
That's my sister's favorite band.
1969, George Harrison, Beatles guitarist, experimental album Electronic Sound was released on Zapple Records.
I just have to say it like Zapple.
Don't start that now.
Sorry.
All right, 1970, Guess Who started a 3-week run at number 1 with the U.S. singles chart, American Woman. It was the group's 6th top 30 hit and only chart topper.
And that's a biggie.
Born by accident when Randy Bachman was playing a heavy riff on stage after he'd broken a string. The other members joined in on a jam. A fan in the audience who recorded the gig on tape presented it to the group after the show, and they developed it into a full song.
Wow.
1973, Mick Jagger added $150,000 of his own money to the $350,000 by the Rolling Stones January benefit concert for victims of the Nicaraguan earthquake. It's $500,000 the Rolling Stones put out just to help people.
What year was that?
1973.
73.
74, Bruce Springsteen, Bonnie Raitt played 2 shows at Harvard Square Theater in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Opening act was Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. Rolling Stone critic John Landau saw Springsteen and wrote, "I've seen rock and roll's future, and his name is Bruce Springsteen."
It's hard to hear him as an opener.
Yeah. 1981, Adam and the Ants, number 1 on the UK singles charts was Stand and Deliver, with a 5-week run. 1992, Bruce Springsteen made his North American network television debut on Saturday Night Live with host Tom Hanks. 1998, Jimmy Page appeared on Saturday Night Live with Sean Puffy Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, however you want to say it, and performed Come With Me from the Godzilla movie soundtrack. They sampled the guitar riff from Kashmir.
Oh, I love that album.
So they did it right, and they brought in Jimmy Page to play the riff over the Puffy song.
Considering it's in a weird tuning that nobody really realizes that it's in a really weird tuning.
Well, after that, It Might Get Loud movie, I think everybody knew after that.
Yeah. Is that the one with the Edge and
yes
and Jack White?
2020, just last year. R.I.P. Little Richard. Died of bone cancer at 87.
Rest in peace.
Biggest hits in the 1950s. Known for his badass performances and flamboyant outfits. Pretty Good Golly Miss Molly, Lucille, Tutti Frutti, Long Tall Sally. So many other ones.
And from I just was reading something on him, and he didn't like doing interviews very much. That's why you don't see very many interviews with Little Richard.
I don't blame it. I don't blame him that is all I have for the Sunday, May 9th and Saturday, May 8th, this day in music. Rolling right in to a big news rundown. Guys, I've got a whole bunch of news. We're probably going to kind of slosh over it a little bit. Some interesting stories, interesting tidbits here and there. Legendary guitarist Jimi Hendrix, Jeff Beck, jammed at the Under the Stars benefit concert for a Daytop Village drug rehab center. So basically, Jimi Hendrix and Jeff Beck held a secret jam at basically, on a drug rehabilitation center. Could you imagine that? It was a 4-day Under the Stars benefit concert for the Daytop Village Drug Rehabilitation Center.
Which is kind of like a double-edged sword because they're playing it to make these people feel better while being on drugs while they're playing.
They're probably all on drugs themselves.
While they're playing it to make these people, but still it was
the Grateful Dead was there, Pete Seeger, Duke Ellington, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Lots of great bands from the time. And then on Sunday, Jimmy and Jeff jammed.
If there is a audio recording, I'm sure there's got to be something somewhere. But it's probably locked in a vault somewhere.
Jeff Beck says Jimmy drove him up in his Corvette to the gig. Brand new 427 Corvette, just going crazy. And he said he was stuck in traffic. And the car was basically trying to overheat. And then they finally get there and they play the gig.
Which they're legends now, but I don't know back then if they hit that legendary status. I'm sure Jeff Beck.
I don't think they hit the legendary status at this point in time. But anyway.
Definitely not Jimi Hendrix.
I just think that would be one crazy thing to get to. A big Staten Island jam. Jimi Hendrix, Jeff Beck on just out of nowhere. What a crazy time. What a crazy, crazy time. But rolling right along. Brian Johnson joins the Foo Fighters for a Back in Black concert performance at the Vaccination Live concert. There's going to be a Vax Live concert to reunite the world. Basically, during a filming, Brian Johnson joins Foo Fighters and they do Back in Black.
The whole album or just song?
I think it's the song.
Oh, okay. I
think it's the song. I believe it aired yesterday, May 8th. So that would have been actually tonight, yesterday, whatever you want to call it, on ABC, 8 p.m., 7 Eastern. Also air on Fox, so I'm sure we can find it on TV if you look hard enough. Eddie Vedder, Foo Fighters, I think Jennifer Lopez. Good Lord. So that's cool. They're going to probably be something cool to watch on YouTube. Watch Brian Johnson kick butt with the Foo Fighters.
And then Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, Jennifer Lopez.
Just taking me back to the Super Bowl.
I know.
A couple years back. Right.
Cold shower.
For 50.
For 50. All right. Let's see. Here's one. And I know they've been taking over this podcast. You might as well call it the KISS podcast. Kiss's Paul Stanley is still open to Ace and Peter Criss making a guest appearance during their End of the Road tour.
Well, they better do it fast.
Do we think this is going to happen?
I mean,
are we going to see Ace and Peter Criss back with Gene and Paul? I mean, are we going to see it?
I could possibly.
We've seen Axl and Slash.
I mean, I could see Ace Frehley because he's openly talked that he's open for something like that.
He's the spaceman. Tommy's great, but it's just like either you're an Ace guy or you're a Tommy guy, right? Or am I just
or Eric Singer guy?
Or Eric Singer guy, or
I'm an Ace guy because
I like Ace and Tommy
OG.
equally.
Well, yeah, but it's just
I'm kind of like in the middle of the road because like I like Ace, but Ace is only there for so much, and like I start kind of looking at Tommy, and I'm like, man, Tommy's legit.
oh, Tommy's fantastic.
Like he's fantastic.
But then
like,
you go back and you listen to the live album, and you're like, man,
that's
Ace.
why I like them both. I like them both
Ace.
equally. I dig them both. So, Paul Stanley's still open to this. I wonder what Gene thinks about this.
Yeah, I would imagine Gene being the money dude, knowing that if them two are back in the band, there's more dollar signs. So I'm pretty sure Gene would be open to it.
Yeah. I think so too. The nostalgia is big. People want to see it.
They're in their 70s, so I mean Ace Frehley's 70 now, so I mean time is now if they're going to do it. Well, they're still mobile. I haven't really looked much on Peter Criss any recently, so I don't really know what he was in some roast not too long, in the 2000s, but I can't remember whose it was. If it was like David Hasselhoff or somebody, I don't remember.
Regardless, it will still be cool to see Kiss, that lineup of Kiss together.
Even for a couple songs,
hear him do Cold Gin or something. But anyway, moving down the line, I have a little Red Hot Chili Peppers segment here. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of a snippet from a drummer here, but Chad Smith, upcoming Red Hot Chili Peppers album. It's very exciting.
And that's with John Frusciante.
Yeah, with John. So I almost at this point I would love to hear him with John and Josh. Just to hear the two guitar. I mean, they almost are the same guitar player.
Almost, but John is on a...
He's a different
animal.
guy. But Josh had to have been the same if he was in the band.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he replaced him. John handpicked him, for Christ's sake.
Of course.
I'm just saying. I don't know. Anyway, I'm speaking out loud. Whatever. Don't condemn me. Chad Smith says, basically, he has a gag order on him. And he's confirming that there's something coming. They're making a record. New music. Doesn't know when it's coming out. But, that's how it is, man. New music takes time.
The only thing I could say, though, is that with Frusciante being back, I think it would probably go back to that funkish,
I think it was always there. I just think bands go through that stuff where it's like, we've done that so many times. We've got to try and figure out something. And Red Hot Chili Peppers are good at reinventing themselves.
Oh, of course. But
and I'm not saying that that's not what they're going to do, because it's probably what they're going to do. But
it's like, have you listened to the Dave Navarro Red Hot Chili Peppers? It didn't work out very well.
No.
Big name guitar, great guitarist. Just that's not their vibe.
That was
a
plugging a square peg into a round hole kind of thing.
That was hot garbage.
I'm not going to talk down on that, but I'll let you say that.
Oh, I will stand by it, because I'm not the only one that thought that album was hot garbage.
Anyway, moving on the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Here's a big one. Red Hot Chili Peppers sell their catalog for $140 million.
Which, to me, I really thought it would have been more than that. You know what I mean? Like, 140 million, yeah, that's a lot of money, but it's like you hear some bands that are, lesser known. I guess I wouldn't say lesser known, but not as, commercial, and selling theirs for like 120. I figured it would have been double that, or even more. But still,
when you've got big, huge songs like, Scar Tissue, Give It Away, Under the Bridge, and you're selling this and you've sold like so many albums, I think at this point it's just time to cash in.
yeah.
I mean, you're only going to get so much older.
Because the digital route as well.
You can't take it with you. And if somebody's going to pay you that much money, I mean, what do you got to go 160 divided by 4?
4 tour managers.
You got to do all that. But I mean, if they're selling their catalog of music, it's not like they're selling a tour.
But see,
they're selling their catalog.
The only thing that sucks though is selling their if they sell their catalog, not having their masters. That's where the money's at. Basically, the masters is where the money's at.
Well, basically, it gives whomever the publishing rights to their song. So I mean, I imagine there's some clause in there while they're still kicking, they can still use it. But anyway, 160 million or 140 million, 140 million for your catalog. If you're the Red Hot Chili Peppers, do you do it or do you not?
Here's the thing though, is like on those, like the other album that I mentioned, and then, with Josh, that's got to be a nightmare with lawyers trying to divvy up who gets what and who's entitled to this.
Who's entitled to that, because they only did it for so long, and yada, yada, yada. Regardless, it's still a crazy time. I'll be interested to see this new Chili Peppers album for sure. And kudos to the Chili's for making $140 million off their stuff.
Right? They probably never seen a dime from anything they sold anyway, because everything's fronted to them.
So I mean, kudos to them. Moving right along, moving on down the line. I've got a Zakk Wylde story here.
Ooh.
Let's see if I can. Yeah, it is true. I'm just trying to fact check dates here. Zakk Wylde reveals he will not be involved in Ozzy's next album. Wylde does emphasize, however, there is no hard feelings. I always support the boss. My relationship with him is bigger than the music. So it looks like he's going to find another guitar player, for the album.
That last album that came out last year before, he's working with the same, producer, so he's bringing in guest guitars. So
that would probably be the coolest way to go. Don't just have one. Just give us a bunch of them.
Yeah, I know, but to not even have Zakk on one, that
there's no telling. There's no reason why. I don't know.
It's out of Ozzy's hands. It's whoever the producer brings, because Zakk. I was supposed to see Zakk Wylde twice with Ozzy in 2019, 2020. Both got canceled 2019 because of his sickness. 2020 because of COVID. So I just wanted to see that little bit of history, you know what I mean? And I just thought, one less ride with Ozzy and Zakk would have been cool on an album of some sort, or even a guest song, but to each their own, you know what I mean?
Of course. So moving down the line, getting some gear news here. Adam Jones of Tool fame had that big Silverburst controversy. People were stealing them, catching the finding the trucks, taking the guitars off the bus or the truck and everything. So boo-hoo on all you guys trying to steal him, because he's going to make an Epiphone. So boo-hoo on all y'all trying to steal his guitar. He's making an Epiphone. Eat that.
Yeah, and that's probably the $8.99 price point, I would imagine.
Yes, and I don't know. It's still in the works.
Because the Tommy Thayer's like $8.99. Most of the artists endorsed are like right around that $7.99 to $8.99. So, but being it's one of the most iconic guitars out there.
Yeah, we don't know if it's going to be there's. I'm looking on this article, and it's showing a case. It's literally so
Is that
It's
the Gibson there that you got there, or is that the
yeah,
prototype?
there's the Gibson here, but I mean, there's an Adam Jones 1979 deal here. And I mean, it's legit showing a case, and it has Epiphone on it. So I don't know if it's coming this year. I know he's just teasing it. It's just about to come out. Regardless, Adam Jones Epiphone Tool 1979 Les Paul Custom Silverburst. Get you some of that, people who won't steal them. Try that crap. Anyway, moving right along. Another piece of gear news. Get this thing to cooperate. Orianthi releases a new Gibson SJ200 guitar. She says it's her dream acoustic. It's red. It's jumbo. Inlays on it. It's got her signature logo on the top of it. I mean,
swoon.
Yeah, Jimmy's over here swooning.
Dream guitar, my dream woman, Orianthi. Have you ever heard the I just went blank. It's gonna drive me nuts. Her and Richie Sambora.
Yes, I seen her doing stuff with like Normans and stuff like that. It's really cool. But yeah, Orianthi comes out with a new guitar, new Gibson SJ200. That's pretty cool.
And hopefully a new husband named Jim Steger. It'll happen.
My gosh. If anybody hears this who knows her, please don't tell her that.
No, please.
No, don't. We don't need no trouble.
There will be no trouble. She gets it way worse. I just said she's beautiful.
Okay. Okay. Think about this. Think about Nancy Wilson from Heart. Talks here in an interview. She gives Eddie Van Halen his first acoustic guitar.
Wow. I wonder if that's what he did Spanish Fly on.
I'm not sure.
I mean, that'd be really cool if that was, the gifted guitar.
But yeah, Nancy Wilson gives Eddie Van Halen his first acoustic guitar. I mean, her first solo album, 35th anniversary of These Dreams, her first solo album. Pretty sweet little interview. Could go through it, but look it up on Google Webs or wherever. Nancy Wilson, first solo album anniversary, and Eddie Van Halen guitar. Pretty sweet little interview. Pretty cool little tidbit from the Heart guitar player.
Now I've got these dreams.
All right. Rolling right in. I got one last deal. One last little tidbit. And I don't know if I'm hitting on something you've got or what. TC Electronic launches high gain Magus Pro distortion pedal. TC's latest dirt box shoot for classic rat tones, classic turbo and fat modes with an LM308 op amp design. Ooh. Gain knob volume, filter, fat classic turbo switch, jacks on top, 9-volt power. Basically a TC Electronic rat with some custom combinations on it.
I hope it sounds that Rat Proco 2. I mean, it was cool, but it just didn't have.
I just think, anytime you're going to get a high gain, some sort of high gain rat, clone.
I'm sure it's going to have a little bit more oomph to it.
I'm sure TC is going to be able to, control how it sounds and make it sound good.
Hopefully it's straight up gnarly. Like, I like those gnarly fuzzes.
Narski.
Like, as soon as you click it on, it's like...
Yeah, it's already howling at you.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, that's all my news. A slight quick, it's just a quick rundown. Quick rundown of our Sunday, May 9th Guitar Pirates Podcast news. Jimmy, what do you have?
All right, I just got a few things. Oh, we're going to have to coincide on this one because I deleted it because we talked about it earlier about, we'll go ahead and jump in with me real quick with the Kurt Cobain story. Do you still have that pulled up?
I don't have it pulled up, but I believe it's like 6 strands of Kurt Cobain's hair is an auction.
It's on auction.
Auction. Gosh darn it. I'm trying to say oxygen. 6
strands. This is the only thing I can remember. It's 6 strands of hair that was from the Bleach tour I don't think it's the Bleach tour, but it's a 1989 tour that over there in London, his hair was cut, and they have pictures to prove it's 6 strands of hair of Kurt Cobain. So,
Yep. It was during the Bleach
tour. Okay.
Yep.
1989. So how can they prove that that's his hair, and why would you want to spend a lot of money for it? Because it's 6 strands. It's not like a lock of hair.
Yeah, it says there's all sorts of photos for the authentication process. So, I mean, it's the real deal. I don't really know who in the world's going to buy this, but
somebody's going to buy it.
You got the money, go right ahead.
Somebody's going to try to clone them or something.
Probably.
6 strands of hair. Just think of somebody's hair, pull 6 strands of hair out, put it on a table, and then go, yeah, I'm going to sell this for, $200,000.
Selling this right now.
Anyway, that was one story I wanted to talk about. I just thought it was something pretty interesting. This is album news, and this is one that I had no idea that it came out. Alice Cooper had a new album come out.
Oh, wow.
It is his 21st solo album and his 28th overall studio album. The album was released on February 26th by Ear Music. The studio album crowned Billboard's top album sales. Chart dated March 3rd, 2021, debuting at number 1. It was the first chart topper in Cooper's 29-year history. That's his first number 1 hit, and it came out in 2021.
That's awesome.
It was recorded between the years of 2019 to 2020. It's 50 minutes, 28 seconds long. Labels Ear Music. The producer is Bob Aaron. And I listened to a few of the songs, and if you like Alice Cooper, there's a song on there called Rock and Roll. I really did like that song a lot. It just kind of took me, I don't know, it had a really good vibe, and, Nita Strauss she's kicking it.
Nita Strauss is a crusher.
Yeah.
She crushes guitar.
Crushing.
She is crushing. Like, ooh, she's just so good.
So good. And you should really, if you're an Alice Cooper fan or you're just kind of curious, you should really check that album out because it's really, really good. Did I give the name of it? I don't think I gave the name of it. It's called Detroit Stories, which Alice Cooper's from Detroit originally. But let's see here. We're going to roll on in. Okay, this is kind of in a dirty laundry thing. One of our first, or I can't remember exactly what podcast, when the Mudvayne news came out that they were going to be playing, I said that they were going to be headlining one of the Aftershock shows that's out there in California. Well, that is not the case. It is actually the original Misfits band. If you're not familiar with the Misfits, you should check it out. I don't know if you're a guitar player, if you don't know who Doyle is. He's a big, scary dude.
Yeah. Very, very scary dude.
Who makes his own guitars, and they're really awesome. He kind of has the same bridge setup that, like, it's a Floyd Rose that's made into a fixed bridge. So kind of like the Mick Thompson, I wouldn't say like the Evertune bridge, but I thought Mudvayne would have been headlining that tour, considering, they just reunited for the first time in 12 years, and they're on mid-card, so... I mean, Misfits coming back is huge.
It's legendary. A lot of people are going to see why that should be the case.
That should be the case. I know, but, you'd think Mudvayne would get that top billing in between, Metallica dates. But, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. Let's see here. Yeah, because my Chemical Romance, that's my sister. I'm gonna just not say a word. But yeah, it's sold out. That show sold out so fast. So I wonder if it's limited tickets, limited
Seating arrangements.
Seating, yeah.
Like
it doesn't
that.
really go. It's a single day tickets. And yeah, they're coming in the email. That's scary. That's always good. But once again, you should check out this Aftershock Festival because hopefully they'll do some live streaming, or if you like watching concerts, of your bands like most of us do on YouTube, to see what they sound like. Or some people don't like to listen to a band before they see them, to see their set. But I'm always curious because the live thing doesn't hold a candle. Or watching it on TV and then seeing it live, it doesn't matter.
It's totally different.
Totally
different feel.
But
what else do we got down here? What else you got going on in your news?
That is that's all I wanted to. That's all I got rolling through on my news.
That's all we got rolling on our news, guys. That is our Sunday, May 9th, Guitar Pirates Podcast news segment, and we are rolling right in. Getting a little itchy.
Little gassy.
Guys, you're looking at the gear. You're online all night. Wondering what you're going to buy. Guys, it's our Sunday, May 9th. Guitar Pirates Podcast, Gear Acquisition Syndrome. Oh my gosh, I'm stuttering. Segment. Guys, I'm going to run right into this one. Little pedal board action. You can find this one on Z-Sounds. Blackbird, 1224 HC. I'm pretty sure it's hard case. Tolex pedal board. Black, fawn, seafoam, tweed. Even has a case. I believe it's I believe these are hard cases. It's a road case. $269.
Is that powered or you have to?
I believe you got to power it yourself.
Okay.
But still. It's pretty cool.
That tweed one.
Tweed, $67.25, 4 easy payments if you want to do it that way, or $269 right out the door. 24 by 12 inches, holds up to 12 pedals. It's got jacks in the side of it, or not jacks in the side of it. I think it's got jacks inside of it somewhere.
Ooh.
It's a pretty sweet little deal.
That seafoam green one's cool.
The seafoam green one shows the hard case. That's the case that comes with it.
Oh, okay.
If you can see that. You can see the jacks on the side of it here.
So
basically all your pedal board needs, your ins and outs, and your good wiring. It's even got a good road case. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. Because nowadays, hell, your pedals are just as much as your guitar and your amp.
Right.
If you're doing it, if you're going crazy.
One of my pedals costs more than my amp. Just one.
So, I mean, pretty sweet little pedal board. Or not, I wouldn't say little because it's
12 by 24.
It's 12 by 24.
That's a good size
That's
one.
a good size one. It holds 12 pedals. Probably holds more if you put mini pedals on there. But that's my first selection for Gear Acquisition Syndrome. Guys, next, all the way down the line, I shouted these guys out in Dirty Laundry. I went and placed an order. I got some coming. Gecchetto picks. If I'm saying it wrong, guys, hit me up. Let me know. I need to pronounce it right.
Gecchetto, maybe?
Gecchetto. I don't know. I'm so sorry. But regardless, I believe these guys are a stone pick maker. Look at them on Instagram. Get on their website. Oh my gosh, these picks are insane. And he's very nice, super nice. He's shown me some of my order already. He's like, "Hey man, I'm packing it up, sending it out today." I'm like,
so even if you didn't want to use one of these picks on your guitar, if you put it, if you put a little locket or little,
I'm sure you can punch a hole in the top of it with a Dremel.
Yeah, you can.
Sorry if that's not what you want to do.
No, that's.
we need to try them out for sure.
No,
I've got a few come to try them out. They're a little thicker. He says he can't make millimeter and 2 millimeter picks because they break. He says he's trying out some different things too.
I wonder the sound on these things.
He's got some endorsements. You know, he does endorse some guitar players, which is super cool.
I wonder if any of them fellers from AC/DC play any of them.
I don't know. But anyway, all the way from Australia, G.A.S picks. Check out there on their website. Most of the stuff sold out. You literally got to check them out at like 7 o'clock in the morning when he drops the stuff. I got lucky and woke up with my daughter, and it was like 6:59. And I was like, man, I got to check this out. And boom, 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 boom. I found like 3 or 4 of them. And then 5 minutes later, they were all gone.
Wow.
I'm telling you, everything he makes, he sells. This guy is a full-time pick maker. Could you imagine that? Full-time pick maker with your wife in Australia. Does that just not sound badass?
That would be a fantastic
That's
gig.
fantastic.
Especially once you get it down. I mean, I'm sure it was rough getting it rounded out and figuring out how not to break everything, trial and error.
He's got different series. I think he's got wood in some of them. He's mixing different materials with them. I mean, there's just insanity.
That blue one, the next page down, there the other way. That blue one right there.
I mean, they're works of art. They literally are works of art. I plan on ordering more, but you definitely need to pay attention to when they drop because these things go fast, guys. Check them out. GATOpicks.com. They range, like, I bought some for $19.99. There's some for like $31. I mean,
What's the shipping on that?
Anything over $100 is free shipping.
Oh, okay.
So I don't necessarily know.
I'm sure it'd probably be like $9.99.
I'm sure it's going to be, something. Something substantial, obviously.
But it's coming from Australia.
It's coming from Australia.
Like
I'm trying to find something that's in stock so I can give some people an idea here. Cosmo 7 millimeter Falcon Uzulum, $23.89. So obviously it's a bigger pick. Obviously, but it's tapered. It's got its taperness.
They're awesome, though.
I mean, you can kind of see it's a front. I think these legit have a front and a back to them. Like they're meant to use only one side. Like they're not like just normal picks. You can just kind of like use each side or whatever.
It's pretty.
They're pretty. They're super awesome. Check them out. G.A.S Picks. That is my second, and that is before our Reverb main event. So I'm going to throw it on over to Jim.
All right. I'm feeling really gassy because this stuff's
a little itchy.
I'm just trying to pay off all my stuff so I can get a few more things. My first one is a Digitech Whammy DT drop tuning pedal. I've played around with a little bit of the Whammy pedals, but mostly it's in the Boss GT100, and then I had a Digitech RP90. Your cheap-ish pedals. So I haven't really got to play the real one, but I know in my hearts of hearts that I have to have one of these because the sounds that are in my head are in this pedal. It's a little pricey because it's got the drop tuning pedal with it as well. So it's $354.99. So you're paying a little bit, but it's got the guitar pitch shift effects pedal. This is a little bit of its at a glance stuff. So it's alternate tunings are right under your toes. You can step down or step up 7 half steps in it, or an entire octave. So it's also, you can do octave pedal with this. You got the classic whammy pedal effects. If you're a Rage Against the Machine fan, that's what the whammy pedal is. If you weren't aware, it's got the momentary foot switch for hammer on and pull off effects, which is really cool, and it's true bypass. $354.99. That's
premium prices for premium gear.
Sometimes, I used to always say, I'm not paying that. I'll just get the cheap. Well, guess what? You pay what you
get what you pay for.
And even if you pay $200, I'm telling you that the quality and it's going to be a little bit louder. In my personal experience with the cheaper stuff, going from the cheaper stuff to the more expensive stuff. The more expensive stuff's got more output. I mean, you don't really have to worry much, but yeah, you should check this one out. It's if you like making weird noises and octaves, and this would be something you'd really like. That is my first one. My second one is, I've been talking about this one for a very long time. This is actually through Amazon. It is the More Black Truck. It is a multi effects pedal. It's got let me get down in here.
It doesn't have like 4 or 5 different things in that thing.
It's got 6 effects.
Oh wow, 6.
So it's an all-in-one unit. So it's just one. It fit perfectly on your pedal board if you're trying to compact, get rid of pedals and everything. It's got a compressor, overdrive, distortion, EQ, modulation, delay, and reverb. It's a built-in effects loop, or you can, so you can have external cables. So if you want to add your favorite cables, to, pedals to this, you can still do that as an extension off this pedal, which is really cool. And you can do the 4-cable method. Connection with an amplifier, which I think is really cool. So all your modulation and your delay will go through your your effects loop, and then the rest of your stuff will come out through the front of the amp like normal. So I think that's pretty cool. So it does come with a tuner. It's got your mod. The mod unit and the Black Truck is the same multi-modulation circuit from their popular Red Truck pedal, which is more like the rock and roll pedal. Bringing together phaser, tremolo, and flanger chorus, and it's into one simple, easy-to-use thing because, it's got a little knob you turn to change everything.
It's like an all-in-one fly rig kind of thing.
Yeah. Then it has the high gain. It's got the mid twitch. It's got the mid switch toggles, which I like having pedals that have the mid switch because I'm notorious for not really liking mids as much, but I like to have a pedal that has a mid switch. That way I can add mids in the pedal and take it out the amp. I like the mids coming through the pedal, not the amp, because I think it gets a little woofy for me. I'm not hot on that. But then it's got, this is the one I'm really curious about. So it's got a space button, which they married a pristine digital delay with a high quality stereo reverb and housed together in one module. Both effects can be used independently or simultaneously at the flick of a toggle switch. So I think that's something that'd be really cool. And then it's got an EQ. So if you want to change
some fairly standard stuff, but yeah, some, run-of-the-mill stuff, but it's also got some effective stuff, things that we need.
Yeah, and it's got a compressor and your overdrive pedal. So
it's basically standard effects, but yet you've got them in a nice chain and a nice portable option.
Yeah,
to get you going down the road.
And it is only sitting at $200. Wait, give me a second. It's $269, and if you have Prime, it's free returns and it's free shipping. So,
wow. Well, all right then. Well, what else are you getting a little itchy for over there?
This one is new. This one has just dropped to Z-Sounds, and I was going through guitars because I'm always looking at guitars. But it is a 2021 Dean Dimebag Razorback Rust electric guitar. It is amazing. If you know anything about the Rust guitars, it's a silver guitar. It's got, it's just got the hand-painted rust. It's probably a graphic, I would imagine.
Probably.
It's going to be your standard 24 3/4, just like your standard Dean or Gibson. It's got the
standard dime guitar, Floyd Rose, 24 frets.
22 frets.
22 frets. That's awesome.
Yeah, he doesn't have... I haven't found any 24 frets.
He doesn't do the 24... Excuse me for my ignorance.
There is a few...
You would think that, but, but he doesn't.
There's a few that he had got from, like, Washburn, I'm sure, that were 24 frets. But for the most part, if you want Dean, it's all 22 frets. It's going to have your Floyd Rose Special 3, which is your cheap... If you know anything, you go straight and get the German-made one instantly. Then it has your Dimebucker and then the DMT design pickups in the neck. It's $13.94 or $112.42 over 12 months. No credit check. no credit check.
No credit check for all you itchy guys out there needing a new Dimebag guitar.
No down payment.
Z-Sounds is the way to go.
But that is that one. And then the other one I have here is one I've been looking at for a very, very long time. But I did get a Wild Audio Odin guitar. It's the raw top with the black back. I really love it. But this is a Wild Audio Blood Eagle. It's the blackout electric. So it's flat black. It's kind of... It's
Explorer shape.
It's Explorer shaped. It's got different angles and stuff.
It's got different angle, different tips and things.
I'm always into something different. I don't want to have something that everybody else has.
Yeah, of course.
And I love the Dean Z shape, which is the Explorer shape. I just love that Explorer shape. I just really think it's really cool. And it's your 24 3/4, 6100 fret wire. It's set neck. It's built out of Schecter guitars out of China. But it's $1149, $95.75, 12-month, 12-month payment plan. It's flat black. It's got the EMG Zach Wild pickups in it. It's beautiful. It's got the mahogany binding. It's really, really pretty. Just your standard run-of-the-mill Zach Wild audio guitar.
Well, hey, it's a good-looking guitar. If you're needing a good Explorer style, something different, check out your Wild Audio guitars. They're definitely a little different, but they're definitely very nice. They're very consistent.
The one I have is just
What
I
else?
can't put it down.
What else are we looking at? A little gassy over there, Jimmy. Is that all we have?
That's all I got is gassy.
That's all
as
we
of
have,
right
gassy? Nothing for the main event for your gas.
I have a reverb.
Okay. All right. I'm going to jump into the main event for our Gear Acquisition Syndrome for our Sunday, May 9th Guitar Pirates podcast. Guys, I'm running on the DD series of the Boss pedals. Boss DD200 digital delay, in fact. We're looking anywhere between 225 and 250. I believe you can find some on Reverb for that. It's basically just an effective delay pedal, 2-button, tap tempo on and off, hold down for a loop, I believe. Let's see here, reverse standard analog tape, drum shimmer, Terra Echo, Pad Echo, pattern, lo-fi, dual ducking. I mean, you got a time knob, feedback, effects level, mod depth, tone, parameter. Looks like you have some memory selections as well. Pretty sweet little pedal. Powered by AA batteries, I believe.
AA batteries?
I almost want to say that it is. That's what threw me through a loop when I seen them too.
I mean, I have, I guess some of the pedals I have do have AA, but
yeah, 3 AA batteries. A lot of stuff going on in there for it. Instead, you can't power that with a 9-volt.
yeah.
You ain't going to power that DD2. I mean, you're just not going to get all the functionality out of it.
And getting AAs save you a little
It's
cash.
even got dual outputs on it. So, I mean, expression pedals, all that good stuff. I mean, it's a pretty sweet, it's a very, very, I've got a lot of delays in a big pedal. Almost Strymony, but not Strymony in a sense. But I think it's really cool. I'd like to check out some of these other series, but the Boss DD200 Digital Delay is my Gear Acquisition Syndrome main event for the Sunday, May 9th Guitar Pirates podcast.
What was the price on that?
Between $225 and $249. You can find that the price is fluctuating for brand new.
Okay. That's a nice little...
Excuse me. Jim, what do we got for your main event?
Mine is... since I have this pedal, I seen it. I've been looking at used prices on this pedal, and I couldn't believe when I seen it because I spent $200 on mine. But it is the Wampler Dracaria's distortion pedal, and Dracaris means fire breather. It is a mid-driven pedal, and it is. If you're into high distortion, this is the most high distortion pedal I've ever had with guitars that are tuned down. So if you like to tune down to C, to B, to A, and your guitar not sound flubby and doomy and dark, you actually have some substance and you can actually cut through and, it's not going to sound like you're in, say, an E tuning or an E flat or a C sharp, but you still get that clarity when you're down in B, because I have one guitar I play in B, and it's just a perfect marry of guitar and amp and everything. I love the fact that I have clarity being down in B.
So it's a very high gain pedal.
Yeah, very, very, very
like scorching high.
Scorching
high.
Fire breather.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. That's hence the fire breather name.
I have my amp on 1, and I use the pedal to turn my amp up and down.
Boost the volume up and down. If it's screaming that good, then obviously, you got a solid piece of equipment.
Solid. And I paid $200 on mine. This one is $129. It's $15 shipping. You can make an offer. These are out of the fellas from Bucket List Guitars. That's in Morro Bay, California.
Wow. All the way out in California, probably close to Ryan.
Probably. So Swashbucklers, Dracarys, I'm probably saying it right, Dracarys, Dracarys. I always
Hit us
say
up. Let us know if we're saying this stuff wrong, people.
But I always say the Dracarys because somebody said something that's like a Game of Thrones reference. I don't know. I've never watched Game of Thrones. So if you watch Game of Thrones, let me know.
I have never seen Game of Thrones in my life. You're probably going all of our viewership has probably just went down because they're all Game of Thrones fans.
But if you're an Ola England fan, if you know who Ola England is, he is a Swedish influencer, on YouTube, guitar virtuoso. This pedal was actually made with him in mind. So it is a mid-driven amp. So once again, it's got your mid switch and everything. It's got your mid, bass, boost, your gain, everything you would need in a heavy distortion. This is what you have. Especially if you play drop tuning, this would be my go-to pedal.
So guys, get on where you buy your stuff at. Look for the Wampler Dracarys. It's a high gain, fire breathing pedal that's going to give you all the nice gain in the right spots. But guys, Jim, if that's all you got,
that's all I got.
That is our main event for the Gear Acquisition Syndrome for your Guitar Pirates Podcast May 9th episode. We're going to kind of combine our last few segments here. Beard of the Week, main event, you guys probably already know. Episode 60 Cycle Hum. Congratulations, Ryan Burke, on your Guitar Pirates Podcast, Episode 6, Beard of the Week. There for Ryan. Ryan, I just want to thank you for coming on our show, answering that cold DM on Instagram, coming in and literally sitting and talking with us for an hour and a half.
And being personable.
And being like super nice. Honestly, guys, I seriously think Ryan would have sat and talked with us for 3 hours if we'd have made him. And he wouldn't even have known.
Yeah.
Like we literally just sat down and kicked the can on all sorts of sweet guitar stuff and found out a lot about Ryan and what he thinks and what he's doing. And
he told some cool stories.
Some cool stories about how his NAMM escapades and stuff like that. And we even also got him to do when NAMM comes back around. He's going to give us some updates.
Yes.
He's going to come back on the show.
And my favorite parts is that Josh threw him some curveball questions, and he's like, huh? Out of the ball. See, it's probably questions I like. That's what I loved about that interview is that you asked him questions that he had to actually think, and it's not like...
I hope he enjoyed it. He said he listened to us. I sent him some of the stuff that we're doing. I sent him our new intro and things. Ryan, thank you so much again. If you're listening. Guys, if you're not familiar with him, 60 Cycle Hum, guitar podcast, started in 2014, developed into a YouTube channel, over 75,000 subscribers, 19 million views, almost. It says on Stitcher it's 481 episodes of his podcast. He says it's close to 400, taking out all the little shorts. I don't care what you say, man. It's almost 500 episodes, almost 500 uploads of some sort of podcast. That's awesome. I don't really care. I count them all. Congratulations. That's super cool. Guys, enjoy the interview. We're going to have this two-parter. We're going to cut this in half because he talked to us forever, and I loved it. So enjoy part 1 of our interview, our sit-down tell-all with Ryan Burke from 60 Cycle Hum.
All right, guys. Welcome to our first interview, our first guest.
hailing all the way from California with over 75,000 YouTube subscribers, 19 million views under his belt.
Oh my gosh, is it that many?
Yeah, dude. Like
Ooh.
it's a lot, dude. You're more of a reference, I think, for people nowadays. Like especially for me, and I think my friend here, I think you're just a reference.
All right.
But almost 500 episodes of the podcast.
Yeah, if the official episodes, we have all these little mini episodes that put it over that. Steve knows the number. I don't know.
I was on Stitcher and I was listening to them, and I went all the way back to the first one just for some info, just kind of doing a little deep diving. And yeah, Stitcher said 481. Stitcher said 481, yeah. So that's pretty cool. So let me just kind of roll right in. Anything planned for the 500th, or did you even kind of know it was coming up?
Well,
or is that even a thing?
Backtracking, I think what's going on is we count it differently. We're not counting getting close to 500. We're counting getting close to 400 this year, because there's episodes we do where we take one episode and we split it into like 5 episodes in a week. Like we call those adisodes.
Okay.
And we've had a bunch of like little extra bonus things that we throw into the podcast feed. So really, I think we're coming up on 380 of the official podcast episodes.
But still, I mean, even officially, almost 400.
Yeah, when we have a tradition of when we hit a big round number, 100, 200, 300, and then 400. It happens every other year because 52 weeks in a year. Then we throw like a big party and like do a live recording with people there with us. So we'll see if that can actually happen this year.
Of course,
it would be fun to be able to do the big live hanging out thing, like the party thing again. But I'm not holding my breath this year. Maybe we'll just do it live on the internet.
It's kind of nice to see that some live shows are being scheduled. I think September, October time-ish. Some things are kind of trying, to get back to normal.
There was I saw They Might Be Giants posted their tour schedule. I was like, oh shoot, they're going to try to tour this year? And I looked at it harder. I was like, oh, this is for 2022. Oh man, I was excited.
And that kind of, I guess, the next question: how is this quarantine stuff? How is this hurting or helping you?
Oh man, there's 2 types of working people through all this. There's the people who are sitting around like, when am I going to work again, or like what's going to happen? And then there's the people who are just absolutely slammed, like whatever they do, whatever kind of work they do is just super busy during all this. I'm in the super busy camp. Like this has been a huge boon for the guitar instrument and gear industry, even though it's made it really hard to source actual product. Like there's all these products launching and have launched for like the past year, and the vast majority of them are stuck in like pre-order hell. But all these companies are like are hitting up guys like me to cover this stuff. And so
are these companies just like badgering you? Like are they hitting you up constantly, just all the time? Is this kind of a constant thing?
I probably get a couple emails a week, and most of them result in something happening, whether it be yeah.
And that kind of just brings me to another question. I mean, and I guess it was going to kind of save this for the last part because it's a little serious. But in your YouTube video, you were talking about the ins and outs of being a guitar YouTuber and kind of setting your rates and being like, well, hey, this is my rates. This is what we're going to do. And these companies are yay or nay. And it seemed like it's pretty civil. At least it's kind of what you were kind of bringing across. And my point is, I mean, for anybody who's listening that's maybe thought about being a guitar YouTuber or anything like that. So you actually set rates for yourself. I did not know that.
I actually, I do something unusual. I actually make my rates public. Like if you go to 60cyclehumcast.com, you can see what my general marketing rates are. Sometimes, every situation is a little bit different. And sometimes we have to come up with something custom, or, we have like friend rates and stuff that we do. Or like, hey, we have a long relationship. I'll, knock off, 20% or something like that. But I try to be very transparent with that stuff and be like, hey, if you want to hire me, here's the rates. Or if you're curious about what I charge for what I do and what, these companies see when they come to me, you can go look at it. You can go look at what information I put up and what a company has to go through to communicate with me to, establish a relationship and start like a demo process,
So in these demos so far, what do you feel like has been, I don't know, I don't want to say lucrative, but I want to say, what do you feel like is the most, one that you're most proud of, I guess so to say?
Oh man, most proud of. Well, I'm not proud of any of it. No, no, that's not true. Most proud of. That's tricky. I guess I don't really think of it in those terms, really. I mean, it's the same thing that we all do on the internet. Like I make a video, I publish it, I see the views come in, I see the comments come in, and I get my dopamine hit. It's the same thing. It's the same thing we all do. We post something on Instagram, we see replies, and we get that little dopamine hit. So it's kind of like it's addictive in that way. That's how you get started, is that little bit of thrill. Yeah. But as far as like being proud of my work,
I guess when I say proud,
early on,
when I say proud, I guess I just mean like, what's something when you got that deal, you were like, man, this was it. Finally, I finally kind of kicked it,
when I finally got contacted by Fender, like that meant a lot to me. Like I'm a big Fender guy. Like I love Fender products. Even when they're bad, I love them. So, I've been going to NAMM since 2015, I think. And every single year I do my pathetic little crawl over there and like try to tell them about myself and like, hey, I'd love to cover stuff on my channel. And like the guy, who works the booth is like, hey, Ryan, yes, we know we'd love to cover stuff. I don't handle that. I'll pass your information on. And then one year, a guy who I'd never talked to before was like, hey, I'm the marketing guy for, influencer relations or whatever with Fender. I found your channel. Wonder if you're interested in, covering our stuff. And it's like, yes, please. But there's all sorts of companies where it's like, they hit me up like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm talking to this person right now. Cause it's a lot of times like you think these companies are going to be big and it's like, a ton of employees, but no, it's a lot of times it's the guy emailing you. It's the guy that makes the pedals or started the company or something like that. And sometimes it's not, but a lot of times it is. It's all these are really small businesses for the most part. So it's pretty interesting.
And the way they're put across nowadays, you almost wouldn't think that. It's like, oh my gosh, there's a big conglomerate under some umbrella that's way bigger, and we can't even scratch them or even get close to talking to someone.
If you talk to employees of Boss Pedals, which you could legitimately think of as like the biggest pedal company in existence, they think of themselves as a small like family company that happens to be a division of Roland, and they look at Roland, and Roland is the behemoth in their eyes. But Boss is a couple dozen employees, which isn't a lot.
No, that's mind blowing. I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
It's not a lot of people, and that's the way the vast majority of these companies are. Is most of them are like a couple people. Some of them are bigger now, but most of them are not huge. Like the USA Boss office is like 3 people. And all of them work the booth at NAMM. Like you can get to know all of them.
Yeah, you've got all 3 of them right at your fingertips.
Well, right.
That kind of leads me to another question about one of your latest videos, the Harmony video. Did you end up taking one of them home?
No.
The Harmony guitar video. I mean, you were playing them, and the kind of eyes were getting a little gassy there. Mm-hmm. Did you end up taking one home, or were you thinking about it?
I don't think I was feeling that way when I was playing them because I didn't remember it that way. But when I edited the video, I shot that back in January and I edited it this week. when I edited the video, I was like, hey, those sound pretty nice. Oh, I kind of dig what I'm hearing here. And I'm the one in the video playing them. And then I'm like watching the video, like looking for the price tag to turn, like, how much do they want for that?
It's getting itchy off your own videos and you don't even remember it.
Yeah. Well,
That's
what I did is after that video, I went and jumped on eBay to see how much those de-armand pickups go for. It's like, oh man, it'd be fun to throw one of those in something.
Just throw that.
I didn't pull the trigger. I'll say that. I've been trying to have more restraint because I have just too much stuff over here. It is just ridiculous. It's unhealthy.
It's unhealthy, but it makes for good content.
It does. But it's like keeping it all organized and like keeping fresh strings on everything and keeping everything ready to go.
The maintenance.
Yeah. Like
horrible. I only have like 5 guitars and I get jelly looking at your walls like, oh my gosh, but that's the only reason why I just don't go off the rails is the maintenance.
Yeah. I mean, before all this, I mean, I get comments on YouTube that are like criticizing me, like, "Oh, you don't need all that stuff," and I'm always like, "I know, it's too much." Before doing all this, I think I had like 4 or 5 guitars, and 2 of them were acoustics, so those don't count. You know? No. And I had like a dozen pedals, and I'd keep like 8 on a board at a time. And if I had an extra, I'd sell it and buy something else. And it's it all snowballs once you start making videos. It's like, I've got to keep this if I need to make another video with it, or I've got plans for this guitar or for this pedal, and it just adds up. And I'm not even the worst of them. Like there's channels out there that like they have barns on their property that are just full of stuff.
My Lord.
Because they're afraid to, they're afraid to sell it because yeah, but like I've been trying to be good about selling stuff. Like I've been trying to convince myself, like, if there's not room on the shelf for it on the set, then you need to sell it. Like, don't just store stuff. And like, if you sell something and then you really need it again later, then buy it back. Just buy another one instead of storing it indefinitely. So I've been trying to think in that direction, because otherwise it just it's too much.
That leads me to an odd question. We've had this weird Squire boom sometimes, with that Antigua Burst Jazzmaster baritone.
Yeah, that's weird.
Has anything like that gotten away from you that you were just like, oh my gosh, like that? And I'll admit right here, I've admitted before on the pod, I let one of those Antigua Burst Jazzmasters go.
Yeah, I heard. I went and listened to
every time.
But I went and listened to 2 of your episodes, and I heard you say that. I was like, oh no, he sold it. Yeah, man. I wish I'd bought one. I'm not even sure I was aware of them when they hit the market. And then when I saw, like, not only do these exist, but they are becoming expensive, I was like, man, I wish I'd known about those. I love Squire. I love baritones. I think Antigua is a curiosity. I don't love it, but it's fun to look at when it's around, sort of thing.
After a while, it just kind of grows on you. But it obviously didn't grow on me because it went out the door.
Here's what would have happened. I would have bought that guitar and I would have refinished it or done something awful to the finish, and then it would have gone up in value and I would have hated myself.
Oh my God. Dude, I don't know what's worse, either doing that or getting rid of it.
I think refinishing it at this point would be worse than getting rid of it, because now you're like someone's villain.
Has anything like that happened to you though? Have you had something you're like, oh man, and then gotten rid of it and then just seen it just go crazy?
Oh man, I don't.
Or are you one of the hoarders?
I think that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that would have been close to that. And I can't think of anything. I think the vast majority of stuff that I cover is worth less after I cover it.
Well, I think we all can admit that that's kind of a rare bird to happen.
Oh, totally
to
rare. Super rare. Like,
it's $449 and then it's $2,000.
Like, yeah, ridiculous. And I think it's because I was I think I watched a video or read something about it. Some band like made it a big part of their band, and that like blew it up, and now everyone needs to have it, which is silly because apparently the band picked it because it's cheap. Like, hey, this is cheap. We like cheap stuff. And now it's not cheap. Now you gotta pay $2,000 for this thing. $2,000 is honestly ridiculous, because you can get all kinds of baritones for $2,000. You could hire someone to make you a baritone jazz master for $2,000, and it'd probably be pretty good.
Probably be, or you could get one of those. Thought about one of those Squire those 16 basses.
The bass six.
Yeah, bass six.
Yeah.
Exactly. And put some.
Yeah, that would be my vote.
Sucker.
Yeah, you can put baritone strings on those for sure.
I bet that'd be pretty cool. You just
people do that. Like this starts out as technically a bass guitar, but then people put baritone strings on them, and that's a fairly common thing to do.
I think that probably, if you're getting kind of missing out like I am on that baritone guitar, might be the way to go to kind of fill the void.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's a different feel, it's a different scale. But yeah, I think those the bass sixes are a bunch of fun. I've played a couple of them. I've never owned one, but maybe someday,
Maybe. But I think Jim was talking to me, and he was saying he heard something. You were saying something in the one of your videos, Jim. What was he saying?
Oh,
pass the mic. There we go.
I was talking about the whammy bar, and you called it a wiggle stick. So I think I'm gonna hone that term now. I just thought it was really funny.
Fun to say. It's just fun to say. Wiggle stick.
Well, it was on that guitar.
Yeah.
That you just did, and whenever I heard it, I had to double back and what did he just say? But I love the wiggle stick. I'm gonna really use that now. I love it.
Yeah. It's like whammy bar sounds very 80s and 90s to me, and then I get hung up trying to say tremolo right. Like I second guess it every time. Like, did I say it right? I don't know. Because I used to say like tremolo or tremolo. I can't even remember what I used to say, but it was bad and wrong. Tremolo, maybe tremolo. I can't. I second guess it every time. I have no idea. So like, I just started like coming up with different ways to say things that I struggle with, and wiggle stick is just fun.
Oh yeah, it works. You should keep it.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere unless I come up with something more fun and more suggestive.
You think about making a wiggle stick shirt?
Yeah. I thought about it. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to get people in trouble if they're walking by an elementary school or something.
Well, I would definitely buy one if you ever had a wiggle stick shirt made. I would buy one. I've
thought about just doing a shirt that has like a simple illustration of like a bunch of different kinds of wiggle stick arms, and then it doesn't say wiggle stick on it, but that's the wiggle stick shirt.
Yeah, you're gonna know that it's a wiggle stick when you look at it.
Exactly. Like people will see it and be like, oh, hey, wiggle stick shirt, cool. So how are you guys liking podcasting so far? This is episode 6, I'm assuming, right?
It's kind of like fate. I've got to do something with your name, 60 Cycle Home, episode 60 Cycle, it's like fate kind of thing. I don't know why, but it just, some sort of pun is going to be worked into the title. But I like that. I'm enjoying it. I just moved into a bigger house. We've got a space to do things. Like I said, it's just Jim and I talking about our messenger conversation and sending pictures back and forth. And I kind of wanted it to have a little bit more of like a Tonight Show kind of like feel to it, like a variety kind of thing. Cause where it's just not all gear, music, guitar related stuff. We'll splash in some beards here and there, we try to make it, just try to make it fun. And
totally.
And I mean, episode 6.
It can't all be gear. Like you have to give the audience some personal information so they can feel like they get to know you, like it's totally fine to like go completely off topic and talk about like whatever's in your head. Like that's part of the fun.
The what was that? The wood, the swamp ash.
Yeah, we were talking about that boring beetle, that emerald emerald boring beetle that's just taken away, ash wood, like just eating it like nuts. Like, do you feel like that's going to just raise the prices of ash-bodied guitars? Do you feel like,
I think
ash that's out there is just going to go crazy?
I think it'll hype up, the vintage market for guitars that have really nice ash finishes to them. You're like, oh, here's an ash guitar. What's going to happen if that beetle gets into guitars? That's going to be, does it only eat live wood or will it eat dry wood? Because that could be an issue.
That's kind of where it's at. I was just kind of basing off what the article was stating. And, I don't know. I have 2 ash body Telecasters and I'm kind of like, one's already got an F-hole in the thing. So it's just,
it could have beetles in it.
He just could walk right in and make his home, set up.
Yeah, that's not good.
So not to kind of move it on, and not to rain on about gear. Are you doing any music projects right now? Are you bands performing, doing anything crazy like that?
My band's been like unofficially on hiatus for like 2 years or something like that. Like we just got busy being middle-aged men with, lives and stuff like that. It was just crazy because I have more gear now than I ever had, and I'm not playing in that band anymore. I am playing at church still. I'm going to play tomorrow. I tend to play like every other week or something like that. So it's fun to be able to get out and still play with a live band, bass and drums and keys and stuff like that. Like, keeps me sharp, and I love doing it. I must love doing it to be waking up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday to go do something that's unpaid. But I dearly miss playing shows, like proper shows. I've been playing in bands since right when I got out of college. I had my first band like the first year out of college, and I haven't had a break since until this band started kind of petering out. So yeah, I'm kind of bummed about that.
When it's a part of your life for so long, it did my band, the same thing. We got to middle-aged men and businesses and wives and kids, and everything kind of peters out, and then you kind of miss it, and then we're actually just trying to get ourselves back together and kind of do the 3-piece thing for now. But
nice.
Regardless, so one thing I want to elaborate on, your Facebook cover photo. Where in the world did that? You look like the dad. You're like holding a carton of milk in a robe or something. And you're like, what in the world, man? That is hilarious.
I forgot that I had that up there. That is a screen grab from when I did the demo of the G.A.S crayon. And that came out like 2015, 2016, something like that. It was one of my very early videos. I kind of fell into doing demo videos because I was transitioning in my professional life from doing graphic design to doing commercial video work. And so I was doing a bunch of like commercial video. I had the equipment. I was doing all this kind of more like, like high polished, high concept sort of stuff as that job. And so when I started doing demo videos, like I didn't know how to record guitar quite yet. I didn't know how to structure the actual demo portion yet. I was like, let's do really crazy theatric intros on these videos. So I had my buddy come over and help me with these intros, and we would just get creative. Like we would spend a full day working on the intro for a demo video, and then I'd spend like an hour recording the actual demo. So that was like it's a screen grab from a skit that we opened up this demo with, where I'm walking around the house. I'm picking up toys that are all over the ground, that my kids have left all over the place and stuff. And you can tell I'm just fried. I'm just super tired. That's the act that I'm doing. And I look down on the ground and I'm about to pick up one of these big crayons off the ground. And I go to reach for it, and it comes alive, and it's got eyes and a mouth, and it starts like talking to me. And it's this whole like psychedelic trip sequence. What I need to do is I need to go back to that era of the videos that I was doing, all those like crazy intros, and I need to cut them together to be one single video that people can watch to see what I used to do. I flat out don't have the time to do that stuff anymore. And like, for the most part, like I don't think people actually cared about it. it helped bring in viewers. I don't think it helped sell the product at all, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, I know your current intro where you're spinning around in that chair brings me in. I think that's hilarious with that cheesy smile.
That's for the road case series. I wanted to pitch that as almost like a TV show format. Like basically my thought is like I kind of want it to be leaning into like me being the Anthony Bourdain, Guy Fieri of like guitar videos, because like for the road case stuff, I go to guitar shops, I go to, visit people, I go to destinations and just film what's ever there. And the way I make that viable for me is that I get sponsorships for it. So I just thought it would be fun to treat it like a TV show and have all the sponsorships with, fun cards at the beginning. And I made the little intro for it. I like it a lot. I've been meaning to do alternate intros. The one that's in my head is I want to do kind of like a 1990s, early 2000s, like professional woman living on her own drama kind of intro, where it's like, wow, I'm getting out of the garage and seeing the real world. And there's like shots of me walking around like downtown somewhere, holding like guitar cases in my camera gear and like spinning around like like an Ally McBeal meets, like Mary Tyler Moore vibe.
I think you're going to have to cut out a week or so or however long it takes and kind of get something like this done soon, man. This would be gold. This is gold.
Or
it's a good idea. It's a good idea, but it is like the amount of work it would take to get it done. It's
tremendous.
Pretty intense. It was easier to do the intro I have now, just doing it here in the garage with a green screen and, doing it on my own. Like the moment that I have to bring in an extra camera guy and like walk around in actual locations, things get more complicated, but maybe I'll make it happen.
The less complicated it is, the better off, but it would be one heck of a Christmas video or something.
Yeah. Well, what I'd like to do is have a couple different intros that I put into rotation across what I call it a series. I usually have like 10 videos in a trip, but be able to have a couple different intros that I can, rotate in and out.
Speaking of intros, if you've probably heard the intro, the big boomy movie voice in our intro.
Yeah.
I've actually paid the Fiverr guy again to do another epic intro for us. And it's going to be on this one. And he kind of describes us and says some funny stuff and kind of put some epic music over it and everything. So new intro for this episode for sure.
How much does that cost?
That was $50. Chucky Fresh. The dude literally does movies, and it was $50. It was like $57 tax and all. The best money I've ever spent in my life.
I need to do stuff like that. I need to hit up Fiverr and see what I can get, because $50 ain't nothing, especially if you're going to use it on like everything over and over again. Like that's nothing.
Now I did put the music over it. I just got some stock stuff out of Adobe, and put that over it, because it costs a little more if he puts his own music over it or whatever. But it's still $50, man. That's the movie voice guy. The guy's sounds really good.
That's great. And for him, he's like, what am I going to do today? Check the email. I can make $50 in about half an hour. That sounds good.
Not even really, like 10 minutes.
Right.
So we'll kind of swing into gear, and then I want to swing into and then swing all the way into a segment. You say you're playing at church. What's your setup like? I've never done anything like that. I mean, I've played out. Is it kind of different than what you would play at a club? Is it kind of a different setup, or is it kind of the same thing?
Oh, it is different than what I would do with my old band, because I'm not hauling amps, because it's running. We're running through a pretty decent PA, and we have in-ear monitors and stuff like that. It's actually like a pretty serious rig. Like it's pretty impressive what churches do now. There's a whole market of the industry that is just making equipment for churches, because it's a live music situation that happens every single week in hundreds of thousands of buildings across the country, across the world, so there's a huge market there for all this equipment, and churches, they can have a much better sound system than the vast majority of like bar gigs that I play, for sure. So I lean for church. I lean into using impulse response boxes and stuff like that, like amp and cab sim pedals, just because I don't want to carry another damn thing.
Nobody. So are you? Are you
if I
simming
can't
pedals?
roll it, yeah, I bring a full pedal board with me, and I bring a guitar. You know, it's like if I've got to carry more than what fits in two hands, then I start feeling bummed out about it. You're like, oh man, I got to carry a third thing. I got to go back to my car. Oh man. But if I can get it in two hands, I'm pretty happy. And the pedal board is it's church pedal boards are known for being over the top. And it's true. We have 15 pedals so we can play 4 songs on a Sunday morning. It's very imbalanced and ridiculous. It's like, yeah,
I just go by feel of the day, what pedals you use, or
I have a general idea of what will work. Like the sound doesn't change a lot. Like if you know, the vast majority of this church music is a major scale, you know, the same couple of chords, and you know, the melody lines tend to be really similar. So I barely even practice for these things. I show up and just kind of jump into them blind. Like, I know what's going to happen here. And I'm just going to, you know, play, you know, bad copies of like U2 riffs or whatever's happening.
I was literally just going to say, just do the edge thing.
Yeah, that's what you do. Just dotted eighth delay and stack a couple overdrives, throw in a fuzz if you're feeling really crazy, but you're there, you know. Slam on a bunch of chorus, you know, when you want stuff to be really moody and spiritual.
Do you ever get any of them to say, man, you got to tone that guitar down? You're kind of going a little crazy here. This is church now.
I've never gotten that note from my current church, but from my old church, they would just turn me off. They would just turn me down. Like Ryan's going too crazy. Fortunately, at my current church, they had a guy who was there before me. Like he was there for a long time. I never met the guy, but from what I understand, he was this like high energy Australian dude who would show up with like some sort of shredder guitar rig, and he would just rip 100% of the time. And people really liked him and really got used to him. And thanks to that guy, like I need to track him down and send him like a thank you note or something. Thanks to that guy, like everyone's just kind of fine with whatever I do. Well, there are churches that get hyper controlling, and like there's horror stories out there, and people that have to quit, and people that have all this drama and stuff. And thankfully, I haven't encountered that. So,
no, you seem like a pretty positive guy, and you're pretty sincere in how you kind of come across, and you know, it seemed like you're pretty easy to get along with. Obviously,
yeah, I think I try to. Well, maybe I don't try. Maybe it's all natural. I'm just here to have fun.
So, what guitar are you leaning on? Like when you're going to church, are you just picking up a good old Fender, or you know, is there anything off that back wall you're playing at church, or it's just kind of whatever suits you for the day?
I tend to use church as a testing ground for a lot of the gear that I get in for the demos that I do. So if I've got something new in, I'm going to use it, whether I think it's going to be appropriate or not. I'm like, well, I've got this guitar in, and I want to see how it sounds in a band mix. I want to see how I feel when I actually have to play it live, like, because that's different. It's different playing at home, just kind of jamming and noodling, versus being in a mix and seeing how it actually sounds in a mix. So I do a lot of that. If I've got something new in, then I take it in. Other than that, I kind of tend to just grab what I think will make me happy that day. You know, like, oh, I feel I'm in a Telecaster mood, I'll take the Telecaster. Like, there's really no reason for me to try to plan around this set the vast majority of the time. Although, like, if it's Christmas, I'm going to bring a guitar that's going to look nice to a Christmas tree. Like, that's just,
yeah,
that's what's going to happen, you know? It'll be a visual thing.
It's always got to be the visual thing.
Yeah.
Jim, what did you think of that interview?
I didn't get, we only had one mic, so.
Yeah, one mic. I know where this janky Zoom call was our first one. You can only have one mic per Zoom call.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, we did our best.
But the thing is that I enjoyed every bit of it because I was still there.
Yeah. He was talking to us, and I mean, tried to, we were just shooting the breeze, man.
And I threw my nonsense in there, of course.
Jim's got his nonsense. He got him. He got Ryan to pop a few times, guys. He really did with some of Jim's flavorful nonsense. But guys, that's our interview. We're gonna have part 2 probably next week.
Yes,
we got some cool up and coming stuff with the pod. Pay attention, guys. Facebook.com/GuitarPiratesPod, Guitar Pirates Pod on Instagram. Guys, leave a review if you haven't. Leave a review about the podcast wherever you get your podcast: Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon, our Buzzsprout site, wherever you can. Leave us a review
and fact checks. We love it all, guys. Congratulations to Ryan for episode 6, Beard of the Week. He is our main event. Next week we're gonna have the second part of the interview. We might have a small main event just to kind of change it up a little bit too. But as always, guys, if you learned anything from this podcast, it was by accident. Truly by accident.
Guys, I have been your host, Josh Jones.
And I am your co-host, Jim Steger.
Guys, thank you guys so much. And until next time, peace.
Later.